Hello and welcome to my makeup madness. So my brows are already done, like they are in most of my videos in light of saving time, but we are starting out with some tape, some masking tape, and just from the corner of our eye, just the end of the brow. Now with some translucent powder on a clean brush, we're using that to set our eyelids for the eyeshadow. Now, going in with that dark red, I'm using that with a dry brush at first, and I'm using the eyelash curler while I curl my lashes to trace a line. It's a bit of a hack, it's a bit of a cheat, and then I'm just blending it out. But what you'll see here is I wish I had actually started with a wet brush. Start with a wet brush. So with a tiny blending brush, I'm using the orange shadow over top of the red to blend out the red, but I'm a little stuck here, and it's because I didn't use a wet brush. So use a wet brush. I'm using a wet brush here as I'm working the line and doing the wing. As you can see, just take a little, you can use water. You don't need setting spray. I'm using setting spray. It's just my preference, but you can use water, but go lightly. And it's much, much easier to trace out that line and get it sharper. This was such a fun look to make for you today. See, look at that. Look how sharp that is. Now, with white shimmery eyeshadow and a wet brush, I'm working that onto my brow bone, really getting that in there. And just kind of blending over top of the orange and red, and so it's a little cleaner looking. Now again, going back to that light orange with a dry brush, just retracing it and emphasizing it again. So with a wet brush on that shimmery white eyeshadow again, we're working that all over our lid to make our eyes pop. And removing the tape. And again, just blending it out with a clean brush. So I'm using my brow pencil just to fix the ends of my brows from the eyeshadow. And just little strokes, little hair-like strokes to make it look real. Now with some black eyeliner, we're going to work this on our upper waterline and our lower waterline. So these are mini half lashes. I'm such a huge fan of these. They're not too much, they're not too little. I don't like those huge lashes all the time. They're just uncomfortable for me. So adding these and then putting mascara on top is just enough to make my eyelashes pop. So using some black volumizing mascara to start out, building up our lashes. This is our first coat. So you can see how much that thickens up the lashes. And with those little lashes at the end, it really does add a dramatic effect. It's small, but it's perfect for the workday. I don't want to go too crazy. So next I'm using lengthening mascara over top of that volumizing mascara. And look at that. It just makes them pop. So some sparkly white eyeshadow. Just use your finger and just pat it on top of the shimmery white shadow on your lids there. And I love it. Oh my goodness, I love it. So we're getting into our concealer now. And putting it on at mega speed here under the eyes, as usual, and the chin, a little bit in the forehead. I'm not a huge fan of wearing foundation. I find it's just too heavy, too much. Whereas I find this is just enough. Next, on a small blending brush, I'm going to that yellow eyeshadow and we're putting that under our eyes and pulling it down. And that shimmery, it's like a shimmery orange shade. With a wet brush, I'm just doing under the lash line. And make sure you pull it all the way out underneath your wing. And going back to that lengthening mascara. Again, probably our third coat here, but this time we're getting our bottom lashes as well. This is our final coat. So with some warm toned bronzer, I have a few brushes here. So we're contouring the cheekbones and the nose. We're doing my big forehead and under my jawline at super speed. Now, on a damp sponge, I'm using this to highlight my contour and set under my eyes a little bit, but I felt a little bit stuck there, so I ended up using a brush. This is actually a pretty good brush. So with some peach blush, now with some highlighter, I'm using a kind of like a golden white highlighter with a wet brush. I find I really have to wet the brush before I put it on. Here I didn't quite get it the way I wanted right away, so I went back and I wet it, and finally, here we go. I'm happy with that, and it's finally sticking to my cheeks just enough. And now, just with a small brush, we're gonna do Cupid's bow in the center of the nose. And with my favorite lip combo these days is a light peachy nude. It's Loyalist from Maybelline and Cold Brew from NYX. And just blending. And with a sparkly white lip gloss. We're finishing off. So this is our final look. Thank you so much for watching. Adding a little bit of jewelry there. I have my crazy hair straightened. This is the final look, and yeah, I'm about to head to work. But I really enjoyed making this one for you. I think it's glamorous, and yet it's light, and yet it's super pretty. And well, it probably took me about 45 minutes, brought to you in about 8.5 minutes. Thank you for watching.